Clemson. And I think this is really good for Alabama. And here's what I think of them going into 2020. Alabama and Nick Saban are going to be mad in 2020, all right? It's not because of the virus. It's not because we almost lost the football season. It's not, because they've lost games recently, although that does kind of play a factor. It's the fact that you have, in recent history, when you look back at it for Alabama, ever since they went on and Tua threw that 2nd and 26 touchdown pass to win that title game, it's kind of, it started to go there at least. So when you look at Nick Saban, he is normally on top of guys. He doesn't quit. He's not wasting time. He's staying on people. He's just going after it, right? And so when you look at it, and in this pandemic, right, and I heard Feinbaum say this when he was saying that he's picking Bama to win the title or whatever, and I would fully agree. If there's one thing Saban is always doing, no matter what, is trying to prepare, right? You have all these teams, and I'm not saying Clemson's not preparing. I'm not saying anyone's not preparing, but everyone's still like, what if we don't get a football season? What do we do? How do we do this? How do we work with each other in social distancing? Nick Saban's got it planned out. He's staying in contact with his coaches. He's staying in contact with recruits while still maintaining his social distancing. So when you look at 2020, right, Alabama's going to be, as I mentioned, in the top 5, but they probably won't be 1 or 2. They'll probably be number 3, 4, maybe even 5, Maybe they rank Georgia ahead. Maybe they rank, I think definitely Clemson and Ohio State will be ranked ahead. Maybe Georgia even. So it's just one of those things that, they got an axe to grind. They got a chip on their shoulder. They will not be the favorite, right? And they are great as an underdog, right? Every time, I can't say every time, but when you look back, when's the last time Alabama had an undefeated season with Nick Saban? 2009 was that, right? It was 2009. Last year made 10 years ago. This year will make 11, right? So, and they have won since then. So Saban has won 5 titles at Alabama. 4 since 2009. And those 4, he's had to lose a game. Okay? Like, they have not had an undefeated season in a long time. 2010, they go 10-2, make a bowl game. I don't remember what happened in the bowl game, right? They go 10-2, lose to South Carolina and Auburn. 2011, the game of the century, right? 9-6 game. They lose that to LSU. Eventually shut them out in a title game rematch in the BCS. 21-0. The next year, who do they lose to in 2012? Texas A&M. I could keep going down the list. They lose that game. They go on. They win the title against Notre Dame in a blowout, like 40-10 or something like that. Somewhere like that. 2013, they lose the Kick 6 Iron Bowl in a winner-take-all showdown. They did not win the SEC. They did not win their division. They lose that game. They ended up making a bowl game. I think they played like Oklahoma or whatever. I don't remember if they might have won that game. I'm not going to sit here and say that they did or deny anything. I don't remember. 2014 was just one of those years where they just weren't that great. They lost A.J. McCarron, and I think they lost Cooper and Yeldon. Or maybe those 2 guys came back. I don't remember. But they lost quite a bit. Losing a quarterback, losing some secondary depth. Somewhat of a rebuild year for Nick Saban and the Tide. They lose to Ole Miss at home. I think they lost at home that year to Ole Miss. And they go forward, right? And what you saw, they made the initial college football playoff and lost in the Sugar Bowl to Ohio State, who went on to play Oregon, who beat Florida State in the Rose Bowl. And then after that, they lost to Ole Miss again. I think that was in Oxford. So they lose in Oxford, but they bounced back, and that was a great year too. I mean, they lost that game. They should not have made the playoffs. Everyone wrote them off. What's the correct term, I guess? But everyone wrote them off. All right, they shouldn't be there. They shouldn't, be in the playoffs. Dude, they had a Heisman winner after that loss. Heisman winner, national championship, shut out Michigan State, and won in a shootout battle against Clemson. So and then 2016 should have beat Clemson again, won back-to-back when Jalen Hurts was a freshman. They did not. They went 14-1 and lost the title game. Then after that, lose to the Barner in the Barnyard. And, of course, you lose the Iron Bowl. You go on in the second and 26, one-hit wonder, Tua Tagovailoa. All right, fine. He's not a one-hit wonder. He's great, I know. But he threw that touchdown pass to Smitty. Won the title. And then, of course, the unbeatable Alabama in 2018 went 14-1, got embarrassed to a team they should not have gotten blown out by Clemson. Of any team they should get blown out by, that is not it. That's just not it, right? So, it's always been close between those two teams. I don't get it. And then, of course, last year, 10-2. So, it's been a long time since they went undefeated. They've never gone 15-0. They went 14-0 because they didn't have semifinals in the BCS. But it just is what it is. So, SEC and all of college football better watch out, because Nick Saban and Alabama are going to be mad, and they're coming for that crown. I'll just leave it at that. Not going to guarantee it, but you can guarantee that they'll be there in the end. I'll just leave it right there at that.